And we're live. What's going on, everybody? I was just watching the end of the Texas Toast Guitars live stream. And if you're over there watching that, yes, I am still in Vegas. So we are coming at you from a hotel room. My tripod is a water bottle with a little camera stuck on top of it. And yeah, so we're going to do our live stream. And the Q&A portion of this live stream is just going to be me because, excuse me, because it's only 5 o'clock here. I think Leslie has to work until 6. So I think she's going to be back for the off-topic hour, which is kind of fun. So I have a chair ready for her, and we will be all sorted out to be able to do that. But you're gonna do the Q&A portion with just me today. If you have a question, put it in the comments section or the chat right over here, and yeah, put it in the chat with a bunch of question marks in front of it. If you use a super chat, I'll drop what I'm doing and answer that question right away. We do have some Patreon questions that came in from our post this morning, and we will get into some guitar stuff. Nice room. Yeah, it's okay. It's old. We are at the Mirage, which is a really old casino, actually. Well, not the oldest, obviously, but it's old. I actually think they're going to tear it down next year and build a Hard Rock here because Hard Rock, the company that owns Hard Rock, bought it. So I'm pretty sure that's happening. So it's okay. It's nice, but it's definitely old when it comes to the Vegas kind of stuff. All right. Well, let's get into some of these questions. First of all, I should say I want to thank all my Patreon supporters and YouTube member supporters and everybody who uses super chats and super thanks on the videos. That's what keeps the channel going and keeps us in review instruments and stuff because we have to buy them. People don't send me stuff for free usually. So I appreciate all of you. And let me turn this off because I always forget. All right. Yeah, so it's very cool. I appreciate everybody who does that, as well as uses the links in the description. Those are affiliate links, so we make a couple of bucks off of all that stuff. That's what keeps us all going. And then, of course, our real job, we make pickups. That's what we really do. So I appreciate all of you doing that. So if you have questions, put a bunch of question marks in front of them, and we'll try to get to them. I will do my best. You know, usually Leslie does this for me. So doing this by myself might be a little bit of a crazy time, but we'll see what we can do. We're going to get into our Patreon questions first. We'll get into our Patreon questions first. Let's see. Ivan. So these are questions from Patreon. So I found out this afternoon that my favorite all-news radio station was summarily shut down this afternoon by the parent company, Rogers Media. What's a guy to do to get his current unbiased news fix every morning? Should I queue up a few of Dylan's old videos or simply curl up in the fetal position and not come out from the basement until I've had found a suitable replacement? CNN, Fox, NBC, and CBC are not even close to even being suggestions. That's really funny. Yeah, watch more YouTube, man. Definitely watch more YouTube. Let's see. We got a super chat in here. So let's say hello. Thank you, Keith, for the super chat. He says, all of the best. I appreciate your super chat very much. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into the next question. And that's going to be from Anthony. Good evening, Leslie and Dylan, even though she's not here. She'll be here in a little bit. What are your thoughts on the Dr. Herringbone Tone Traveler? So I actually forgot to look this up. So we are going to do that right now. Oh, I know what this is. So I do not think, I think this is dumb. I have a friend who, there's another one, there's another brand, I can't remember what it's called. I have a friend who swears by it, and he says it completely makes his acoustic guitar sound better. I don't understand that. I don't. I don't understand why you would need to do this to season your guitar. If you have a cast iron frying pan, sure, but just play the guitar. I don't understand why you would need this. I think this is kind of a waste of money. That's just my opinion. I thought that's what it was. I didn't look it up earlier. I'm sorry, but yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. Shane, thoughts on the made in Japan Yamachi Strat custom Fender released? People over here are going nuts over it. Seems like a Telly SG Strat rolled into one. So we don't have that over here, and we don't have that guitar over here, and so I didn't really, I don't want to say care about it, but it's not something that I delved into a whole lot. But basically it is a Strat, and I don't know. It's I'm not. It doesn't blow me away, if that makes sense. But I can understand why people who are fans of him would. That's just like any other thing with signature guitar stuff. If you don't personally have a connection, and the guitar is sort of just okay, then I get. then you're not going to really be into it. I have a Slash Les Paul. A lot of people think that it's not cool because they're not into Slash. Well, I kind of am, and well, I really am, and my wife is. So we are fans, and so I'm glad that I have that guitar. I'm not necessarily, and then there's other signature stuff. I'm not a big Snarky Puppy fan. I mean, I think Mark Lettieri is a really good guitar player, but I don't really care about Snarky Puppy that much. But the guitar is very good, so that's why I bought the Mark Lettieri guitar. Same thing with the John Mayer guitar. I don't really care. I mean, John Mayer is great, but I'm not like a huge fan and connected to him in any way. I just really like the guitar. So there's a couple of different ways you could go with that. But when I don't have any connection to it at all, it's hard for me to think that it's super cool, if that makes sense. All right. Let's get to the next question. Shane, I'm just going to say it. Dylan, but your reasoning about Gibson broken headstocks was wrong on so many levels. Basically, you ignore the obvious flaws that 70-year-old design and blame the consumer, which is something bad companies do. McCarty designed the LP to be beautiful, not functional, which is why it had the 17-degree neck angle, half-inch neck. It's actually 0.9. And tiny strap buttons. Using an LP is like driving around the freeway with a Ford Model T without seatbelts. Sure, you may never have an accident, but if you ever do, you may regret driving that guitar. rant over. Sorry for the wordy mouthful. Usually Leslie reads these. You know, okay, so I don't argue about this stuff, right? I don't see the point in arguing about this kind of stuff. If you want to say that there is a design flaw in the Gibson Les Paul, you are very welcome to believe that and think that. You know, I don't think that. I do not agree. I think the guitar's fine. It's a good guitar. I don't, and Les Paul designed that guitar. I mean, I know he designed it with Ted McCarty, but I feel like people make too big a deal out of a thing that isn't really that big a deal. And I know for sure, Shane, and you know, this is not to throw any shade at anybody, but I know that you're not a Gibson fan. And I know that every time I say anything positive about Gibson, you don't like it. You are very much against Gibson as a brand. And you are very, obviously, you can feel however you want to feel about it. I'm not going to try to convince a person to think something different. I do disagree. I don't understand why people make a big deal out of any of this stuff. I don't understand why anybody throws shade on a guitar that they don't own. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. You know? I don't like Glocks, but I don't like go around being like, dude, your gun is stupid. Or I don't know what else. I'm not into electric cars, but right now, like I will be pretty soon, but not right now. And that's the other thing. Thoughts can change with people as the time goes on. I think we get too wrapped up in that stuff. So I don't know. I think it's great. I love my Les Paul. I really do. And I'm not wrong, but you're not wrong either. Because if you feel that the design is poor, you can believe that. That is an opinion. What I'm saying is not an opinion, though. If you don't drop your Les Paul, it will not break. They don't just break by themselves. Someone causes damage to them. Are they easier to damage? Yes. However, someone is still responsible for that damage. So, you know, they don't just break by themselves. It's so, you know, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, and I respect your opinion. I disagree, but I do respect your opinion. I see where you're coming from, for sure. All right, Rob. Phil McKnight recently quoted Mr. Kiesel of Kiesel Guitars. I think it had to be Mark, son of the founder. The quote was something like, "Making pickups isn't magic, it is math." To me, the statement sort of makes sense, but I think a better one would have been, "Making good pickups is both applied science and an art." Thoughts? This is an interesting thing to think about, and I really appreciate this question because so yes, it's science. All this guitar stuff is science. When you look at how an electric guitar works, and if you were watching the Texas Toast live stream, they got into tone wood over there, right? And they were talking about they're just doing tapping on a block of wood and tuning a top for an acoustic guitar. It's two different things. And not to go totally down that road, but to just kind of parse this out a little bit, because it's important to the science that goes into making pickups. Acoustic guitars and electric guitars are two different instruments. Okay, they are not the same. The way they convert kinetic energy into sound uses two different types of applied physics. Why is that doing that? I don't know. I just... Hang on. Here we go. Sorry, I made some kind of gesture and my camera did something. But an acoustic guitar is acoustic guitars and electric guitars are using two completely different um, types of applied physics. So when we're changing with an acoustic guitar, when we're changing kinetic energy into sound, it remains kinetic energy. Okay, so it actually we're using kinetic energy to move air. Really, an acoustic guitar, all it is a drum. So when you strike the string, it's a strike. Okay, you are striking the string. You are vibrating the soundboard at a particular frequency. You're using the box of the chamber of the guitar to more or less amplify and direct that moving, and you're causing air to move. It's the same thing as a drum. When you hit a drum, the air moving on the other side of the drum is what you hear. So, like on a tom, for example. An electric guitar is not that. An electric guitar is taking the kinetic energy of a string and it is converting it to an electrical impulse. So that is why you cannot say they are the same. They're completely different. When you design a pickup for a guitar, it's all math. It is all math. Because there are all these sliding scale factors of magnetic strength, brought upon by the strength of the magnet, the diameter of the magnet, the length of the magnet, where it exists in the coil. Is it close to the edge of the coil? Is it in the middle of the coil? Is the coil fat? Is it skinny? Is it tall? Is it short? The gauge of the wire, is it small? Is it big? Is it have thick insulation? Does it have thin insulation? All those things. And so those are all literally just sliding scales of how a pickup is made. And you move one slider, and that affects this other slider over here. And then you move another slider, and it moves this slider over here. And everything's kind of interconnected. And then you have to figure out all this math, and this is how you come up with the design of a pickup. Most people just trial and error and cut stuff up and start over again. But if you use a lot of that math, and if you understand the science behind it, you can get away with being right the first time, or being right the first or second time if you understand that math. Now, where the magic comes in, there is no magic. Where the magic comes in, let's just say there is no magic. There is simply practice and understanding the math. And the people that take the time to practice and get good and consistent, and we've made, 10,000, probably 10 or 15,000 pickups over our lifetime of our company. We're coming up on 10 years now. And so I have done it. I can make, 100 pickups in a week, send them to the same person, and they all sound the same. There's a skill in that. The math is figured out first. Then there's skill in making sure that you can replicate the math. Where the magic comes in is you. Because while it is different than an acoustic guitar, how you strike the string and how you fret the note is different than how I do it. So how you get the potential out of the instrument is the magic. It's not in the equipment itself. There is no magic. There is no voodoo. There is no snake oil. There is no nothing in how a guitar works. 100%. It's all science. Absolutely science. How you get it to work and do what you want it to do is magic. That's you. That's how you do it. That's what your hands do. And I will tell you right now, I was thinking about it while I was listening to the live stream on Matt's channel, and he was talking about understanding pickups and good pickups and bad pickups, and even having less expensive pickups in a guitar and it's still good. It's the potential. There's a lot more potential in even less expensive gear than we want to ever give anything credit for. Are we passionate about expensive stuff? Yeah, because it's cool. I love fancy guitars. I love them. I think they're cool. And that's the only reason. I don't need another reason. That magic, after the guitar is built and designed, is you. That is all you. There's no magic in the guitar. There's no mojo in a guitar. That's all BS. Vintage guitars are worse. Okay. So if we were really to be objective about this, vintage guitars are worse. New guitars are better because manufacturing processes have tightened up, consistency has tightened up, and the ability to change kinetic energy into electricity has gotten better and more consistent. Vintage guitars suck. You can find a good one, but you got to play 100 of them to find one good one. You can go to Guitar Center, which is the worst place to buy a guitar, and find a good guitar on the first day. It's not that hard. There's no mojo in any of this crap. It's all science. Until you pick up the guitar, then it's you. And if the guitar sucks, it's not the guitar. 99% of the time. If it stays in tune, if it's intonated properly, if the setup is good, and all the functions work, and you can't get it to sound how you want it to sound, you probably suck. Kind of how it is. Because you know that you've seen the videos on Instagram where somebody will take a crappy guitar and give it to Joe Satriani, and he will sound exactly like Joe Satriani or Eddie Van Halen or any of these people, and they all sound amazing on a super crappy guitar. The passion is not in the product itself. Well, the passion is in how I make the product. I love making this stuff. So I put passion into making what I make. But you have to put passion into what you play. And sometimes having something cool gives you that passion. That's the magic. That's why cooler guitars are cool. That's why I don't care about Harley Benton guitars or Fireflies or none of that crap. None of that junk inspires me. I just don't. I'm not inspired by it. I just don't care about it. It's just not. It doesn't make me feel fuzzy inside. What does James May on Top Gear say? It doesn't give me the fizz. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. So play something that gives you the fizz. And that's where the magic is going to come in. And that's where buying cool pickups and doing all this other stuff. And are our pickups better than cheap pickups? Yes, because we have put more effort into them than less expensive guitars. But it's not my hands. It's not mojo. It's none of that. It's science and taking the time to do it. Because the bottom line, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The bottom line is cheap guitars, they don't put any time into the selection and the design near as much or near to the level of more expensive guitars. Gibson has a whole team of people working on pickup designs all the time. And so does Fender. One of my buddies is actually one of the designers for pickups at Gibson, and they spend a lot of time on stuff. Import guitars, they don't do that. They build them to a price. And there's a reason. There's a reason for that. Price isn't just because a guitar brand is less greedy or more greedy. It's because they're building them to a price. They're less good. There you go. Thank you, Dog Boy, for the super chat. What pickups would you choose for the 40th anniversary Squire Gold Telecaster? I'm changing those out, and I also like the deep dive into guitars. Great stuff. We've been putting our flat sixes in those. We have a set of, in fact, there's a set on the website where it comes with all the wiring and everything. It's like $250, something like that. So 2 pickups and a drop-in wiring set to where all you have to do is just switch your knobs over. Like, it's super easy. That's what I would do. Yeah. All right. Let me hang on. I'm going to go through. I'm going to do what Leslie does. Oh, did I miss another super chat? Hang on. Oh, you asked this twice too. What pickups would you? So I'm putting 13 gauge on and tuning down a half a step. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would put those. Thanks for the super chats, dude. I appreciate it a lot. All right, hang on. I'm going back through and catching some of these questions. If you don't put a bunch of question marks in front of it, I'm probably not going to see it tonight because doing things by myself obviously is more challenging than normal. So give me a second here. All right. All right, so questions. George says, "What's your favorite Vegas restaurant?" For me, it's Shusi. I don't have a favorite. I don't actually really like Vegas that much. My brother lived here for 7 years. I used to come here all the time. I used to live in Flagstaff, which is like 3 or 4 hours from here, and I'm not a big Vegas fan. It's fun. It's cool if you're coming here to do a thing. But, like if you're coming here for a particular purpose, I don't just come here to hang out. I don't really have a favorite. And there's not a lot of good vegan food here, which is weird. You'd think there would be. Where can I, Edgar says, Dylan, where can I get a good custom pickguard for a Gibson SG Special? I do not know the answer to that, actually. Matthew Altomer. Any pointers on redressing frets for the first time? I just got the StewMac radius block with 400 grit sandpaper. I'm going to try a redress my worn Gibson SG and my newer Epiphone Les Paul for the first time. Yeah, I would say if you're going to do that, get the Z files from StewMac. We have a link in the description to StewMac. Helps out the channel if you use it. Get the Z files because you don't ever have to worry about over grinding the frets. Mark them with a Sharpie, run it this way, flip the file over, run it the other way until you get a nice thin Sharpie line on top of the fret. After you've leveled everything with your radius block, and you're done. Super well, and you got to polish them, but super super simple. That's what I would do. Dylan, do you think, or is there any difference between using single poles or just a straight bar for pickups? Single and or humbuckers? Yeah, there's definitely a difference. So one of the factors in pickup making, not to get super into the weeds here, but is the shape of the magnetic field and also the intensity of the magnetic field within the coil. The strength of the magnetic field at the inside of a coil versus the outside is different. Obviously, because it falls off as it goes away. Bar magnets are not actually that strong. Pole magnets are actually stronger. If you look at the Gauss readings on an Alnico 5 bar magnet, on the edge, it's going to be about 600 or 700 Gauss. If you look at the end pole piece of a 187 magnet, like one of our Strat pickups, it's around 12 or 13. So how the magnetic field is applied to the coil with a bar magnet versus a pole piece magnet is different. So it does make a difference. Yeah, for sure. Since the replacement pickup, Curtis Chavez, since the replacement pickup industry was created because players with relatively low gain amps wanted higher output pickups to kick over their amps, what has kept replacement pickups going? Low priced guitars. So that's an interesting question, actually. I'm going to say low priced guitars. The reason I would say that is because the way you cut corners with building, the way you cut corners making pickups is you use cheaper wire and cheaper magnets. The way you get around using cheaper wire and cheaper magnets is you wind them hotter. But what happens is they get flatter sounding because hotter pickups are not louder. Well, they kind of are, but they cut out the mid-range and they cut out the high end so much that the perception is a lot lower. And they sound flatter and they sound muddier and all that. So, I mean, I'll just be very straight with you. Most of your inexpensive guitars, I mean, all of your Squires, all of those cheap guitars we mentioned earlier, the Fireflies and all that stuff. Those are $3 pickups that are made in China, and when that brand calls up and says, "Hey, I need a humbucker," they just send them a humbucker and they stick it in the guitar. Some of the better companies will spec them a little bit more, but still, they're picking from price ranges. They're picking from, okay, these pickups are made with these materials and they cost $4 each. And in this group of pickups, we want hot ones or not more vintagey ones or whatever. But they're still building to a price. We don't do that. We don't skimp on materials. So our pickups sound better. The way we wind is different. So our pickups sound better. And it's not small. Like, it makes a big difference. And so I think that's what keeps it going. And I'm grateful for it. That's why, I think a lot of people think that I hate cheap guitars and that I'm some kind of guitar snob. It couldn't be further from the truth, because without inexpensive guitars, I wouldn't have a job. So, I really love cheap guitars. I really do. They're fun. They're fun to mod. They're fun to everything. But given the choice, am I going to buy the cool one or the cheap one for my own personal collection? If I can afford it, I'm going to buy the cool one. Wouldn't you? I mean, of course. But inexpensive guitars are very cool, but they just need a little work. Sometimes they need new wiring. Sometimes they need new pots. Sometimes they don't. Pots and wiring is getting better. Cheap pots are getting better, actually. And a lot of guitars are putting better pots in them. That Epiphone, I'm not going to swap the pots out. Their CTS, they're fine. I don't think they're as good as what we use. Looking at the numbers on them, I can tell the tolerances and stuff. It's fine. They're fine. I'm not going to swap them out. Yeah, I think it'd be fine. Let's see. And it also has to do with your perception. So, who is it here? Dogboy says that the Squire Paranormal Thin Line Telecaster, the P90's on it, he thinks they're phenomenal. I don't think so. I disagree. But it doesn't matter. If you like them, you like them. And the thing is don't change stuff on your guitar because somebody on the internet told you to, including me. If you like what you have, keep it. If you feel there's a need to change something, or because you want to explore something, because you're interested in learning how to change pickups, if you want to know if there's something better out there because you're curious, then do it. But don't do it. Some of the most annoying posts to me in social media, and it's in everything. I see it with pistols all the time, and I see it even worse with guitars. I just bought this guitar. What are the mods that I should do? None. Play the guitar. Take the gun to the range and put 500 rounds through it before you touch it. Play the guitar. Enjoy the thing you already have. Create the need. And I don't mean complain about what you have. If the need comes up because you have a particular amp and it doesn't cooperate with it right, or like you're playing a certain gig and the guitar doesn't quite do what you want it to do, and you've kind of messed around with your settings and you can't kind of get it there, then put new pickups in the guitar. It will sound amazing and it will open up an entire new world for you. But if you're using the guitar within a very narrow window at home with a Spark Mini in your living room and that guitar sounds phenomenal for, you know, your little katana or whatever in your bedroom, whatever, and this guitar sounds great, don't change anything. Don't buy pickups from me. You know, don't worry about it. Don't like I would be very honest with you, and I've done that many times with people that have called us. Don't do it. Just play it for a while. You know, if you're looking for a particular thing, let me know, and I'll tell you what I think we should do. If I tell you leave it alone, you know, hopefully you're cool with me being honest with you about that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Hang on, I'm gonna grab some more questions. What do you not like about them? The P90s. They're just kind of flat sounding. They're just kind of our pickups are a lot more dynamic, and they're quieter. They're not as noisy, and they definitely have more clarity on top. When you use your tone and your volume, they'll do a lot more, if that makes sense. They'll clean up better. So, like, let's say you're going to play, you know, so I play through a Princeton, right? So my P90 amp is my Princeton, and I just dime the amp. Or, well, I'll put it on like 8 or so, 8 or 9. And I'll play P90s through it. And then to clean up that sound, no pedals. To clean up that sound, I just turn the volume down some on the guitar. Cheap pickups don't do that as well. They don't clean up as well, and so that would be one of the things that I would say. Yeah, they make a pickup cheaper than you can buy the wire. That is no joke. Yep, exactly. All right, let's see. What do you not like about them? Putting a P90 in the neck. What humbucker would pair good with that in the bridge? Probably our Super 8. I would say it's like a PAF wind, but we put an Alnico 8 magnet in it. PAFs are not as hot. They are not as high output as P90s are. P90s are actually higher output than humbuckers are. That's because when they designed the PAF, they knew that they had 10,000 winds on a P90, and so they just put 5,000 on each of the others, of the humbucker bobbins, and it became a humbucker. The problem is that it's not a 1-to-1 output ratio. You would think that 5,000 and 5,000 would end up being 8.5K or whatever, or 8.2K, just like 10,000 winds on a P90 is. Just put 5,000 on each coil, it should still be 8.2K, but it's not. It ends up being about 7.6, 7.8. Depends how tight you wind it. Depends on the bobbin dimensions, a couple things, but so yeah, so the P90 is going to hit the amp harder. So I would say put a Super 8 in there just to give you some good balance. That's what I would do. I like that idea a lot, actually. Let's see. We got that one already. Hang on. What do you not like about those pickups? Still trying to catch up. Let's see. Dogboy says, I will probably try your P90s. I have two paranormal thin line tellies, one in maple and one in rosewood, and I would like to try yours in one of them. No, that's cool. I would totally do that. That'd be awesome. And then he also says, how many of the guitars do you own that you actually play regularly? It depends how much I get to play. I would say, I play both my PRSs a lot. My Fiore and my Silver Sky. Actually, I've been playing my Silver Sky more. I really, really like that thing. I love that guitar. I just do. It's just a great guitar. Somebody said I miss Leslie. Yeah, me too. I play my P90 guitars a lot. My Gibson SG Junior gets played less these days because Dawn built me that double cut, and I really like that double cut. It's really fun. And I don't have to be as careful with it. I shouldn't say that. I'm kind of trying to beat the SG up too. I'm trying to like wear it out because they both have lacquer finishes on them, and I want them to kind of get old. Somebody mentioned earlier, aren't you like a punk rock guitar player? And I am. Yes, that's definitely for sure. If I've missed your question tonight too, again, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do the best I can with all of this. Because, like I said, Leslie's really good at her thing that she does when we do these things. Let's see. I'm thinking about picking up Esquire Bass 6 and wondering if you can suggest how to improve the pickups, or will you make some pickups for that custom? No, we can do a Bass 6. They're just Jaguar pickups, so we've done those. Yeah, no, we can totally do those. When you get it, send me pictures and we'll just make sure we're in the same ballpark on stuff. But yeah, no, we can totally do that. Do you run two different gauges on each coil on humbuckers? So you're talking about wire gauges within the pickup? We do on the center punch. That's how we make it to where it doesn't volume drop when you coil split. Yep. Let's see. Dylan, I love that Guitar Texas Toast made for you. Yeah, I'm really excited about getting that thing. Super chat. I have a 1976 Les Paul Custom. I replaced the pickup in the 70s as a stupid teenager. I put the Slash pickups in it. What's your take on them? I love the Slash pickups. I have a Slash Les Paul, and I think it is phenomenal. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I absolutely love those pickups. I think they're great. They're just a little hotter, and they're Alnico 2s. I think they're awesome. I'm trying to think of all the guitars that I have. So my Strat, I hardly ever play. My 85. I have my first guitar. I got it when I was 13. It's an 85. Maybe I was 11. I don't know. My dad gave it to me, and so I don't play that guitar very much anymore. That's kind of just like a special thing. My Schecter Machine Gun Kelly, I play that thing all the time. I play my Fiore. I play my other PRS. don't play the Gibson SG as much, but I do play it some. The Les Paul doesn't get as much play as some of the other guitars. But I've been playing it more lately because I've been using it in videos a lot. And so when we plan for these videos, a lot of times, like if I'm going to shoot a video tomorrow, because I know the idea that I'm going to play or that I'm going to do, then I'll get the guitars that I'm going to use and play them the night before so that I, kind of have an idea what guitars I'm going to use for what little demos and stuff. So because of that, I've been playing all of them a lot more because I kind of like go through them all and decide what I'm going to do. I don't even know what guitars I have right now. I sold my SE Silver Sky this week. I haven't shipped it out because I haven't been home, but that'll get shipped out this week. Single pickup guitar. Delete tone circuit. Run volume only. Yay or nay, P90, DAF, or Super 8? P90 all the way, in my opinion. So this is where I disagree with Matt and Chris on the no tone knob thing. I like having a tone knob. I like having a tone knob because you can get so many sounds out of a single pickup guitar, especially on a single pickup guitar. You can get so many sounds out of it. And I really, really like that. But you need that. What is your take on the new PRS SE Swamp Ash Special? My next guitar on November 3rd. I'd buy it. All this SE stuff has been really good. Where is the better half? She is at a conference that goes until 6 o'clock local time, which is, 15 minutes from now. So I'm hoping that she's going to be here for the off-topic hour. Super chat from Dog Boy. I put the Jeff Beck pickup on the neck of my Strat. Oh, that's an interesting combo. Thank you for the super chat. That's a really interesting combo. I never would have thought of that. Any suggestions for a high game player looking for something different? Yeah, our Quattro is pretty cool. It's bar magnets, tons of bar magnets, 4 of them in there. It's gnarly. Super great clarity though. Hits the amp really hard, never muddy, pretty tight. It's kind of my EMG, if you will. It's not an EMG. It doesn't sound like an EMG. But that's kind of my high output thing. And I do it with magnet. I don't do it with winding. So when you get it, and it's only like 11K or something, or 10K or whatever, and you're like, I thought this was high output. Put it in the guitar and play it, because I do it with magnet, and it's really, really good. What's the hottest pickup you've made with ohms value? Probably 15 or 17, somewhere in there. I would say something like that. Let's see. Make sure that I didn't miss any of these. Yeah. We're hardcore on this channel. Yeah, I'm not a big hot pickup guy, really, when it comes down to it. My thing about hot pickups is they seldom do what you think they're supposed to do. They seldom do. Everybody says, this happens all the time. I'm just going to tell you this happens all the time. Like, every week, we get a chat on the chat thing on our website. I'm looking for blah, blah. Can you make your P90, but can you make it hotter? And I just tell them yes, because it's going to sound hotter than what they have, because there's going to be more clarity there. The mid-range is going to be stronger, but the pickup doesn't have to be hotter. Hot pickups are not a good idea in 90% of situations. I also have the Fender HMT with the pearly gates. Dude, that's a cool guitar. I talked to John about design when he designed that thing. That's a really cool guitar. Doing all the talking by myself is... I haven't even been going that hard because I'm not a big partier, so I didn't do any I don't gamble, so basically watched baseball, went to the Shelby Museum. That was pretty cool. Keeping it pretty chill. But yeah, hot pickups are typically not. When you want hot pickups, it's because you're trying to get. Typically, you're trying to get a darker, heavier, tighter sound, not louder. And even metal players will tell you that how they EQ their guitars has a lot more mid-range in it than you think it does when you listen to the records. Another super chat from Dog Boy. 23 guitars and my 93 Strat is still my go-to. I get that. Thanks for the super chat. My go-to is probably an acoustic, actually. Dylan, do you ever try out other boutique brand pickups as market research against your own product, like say 920 Customs or Planet Tone? Or mostly are you concerned with lining up with big brands? None of the above. So I don't. If you haven't figured this out already by watching the channel, comparison to me doesn't make sense. I don't compare anything. We do our own thing. That being said, I love Lawlers. Not a big fan of Porters. I should say I like Porters, but I don't like. He makes great stuff, but I don't like the sounds for the way I like to sound. I make my pickups the way I want. If the pickup doesn't sound right to me, I don't make it. That's why I don't make a lot of stuff that other people make. I don't make Filtertrons. I don't make humbuckers for Tellies and Strats, like little bar ones, like 59s. I don't do any of that because I don't like how they sound. I'm not a fan. I don't have. So I make what I want to make, and I don't really compare with others. The Planet Tone guys talked a bunch of shit about me in social media over the years. He can pound sand. I don't have anything to say about that guy other than that. But I thought maybe that was your answer. Dylan, I have a new hobby goal. I want to collect each pickup you have on your website. Yeah, that's cool. I dig that. Are Ron Ellis pickups magic, math, or just more money? Some of those, I hope I get to the point where we are so crazy that you have to pay more for the stuff that I actually make. I hope we get there. I hope we get to the point where people want our stuff so bad that I can charge whatever I want. I mean, I hope. Like, I'm not saying that I want to overcharge, but that's pretty cool. Ron Ellis can do that. Throwback can do that. No, the pickups aren't special. But people want them so bad that they're willing to pay for them. And I'm grateful that people are willing to pay what we charge. I think about it every day. You know, next month is going to be 10 years. And I'm working on something really special. Really special. So, and there's only going to be 20. So if you want these, I'm not going to tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you that they're going to be 20. They're going to be numbered. And they're going to be something we've never done. And I'm really excited about it. But, I've been doing this for 10 years now. Well, I've been doing this all my life. But for money, this part of it, I've been doing it for 10 years now. In 2014, I think, I was at the NAMM show. And Anthony Sims was there from Lucky Dog Guitars. This was the first time I met him. He's a really cool guy. And he and I actually walked around the show. We were looking at other small builders and small pickup builders and small guitar builders and stuff. And then about 2 years ago, he and I went to dinner. And we were talking, because he lives in Tennessee. And so we're pretty close. So I get to go see him once in a while. And he and I were talking. And he said, I just walked around NAMM again. And there's nobody there. All those small builders and all those small pickup builders and everybody, they're all gone. And he's like, aren't we grateful to be doing this 10 years later? And I'm like, yeah, very much. So, and I owe it to all of you. I really appreciate everybody's support, because this is a hard thing to take from a sewing machine with a foot pedal to what we have now. And I'm going to tell you, 2024 is fixing to get crazy. So, just so you know. Let's see. They're going to be humbuckers. The special edition stuff, the 10th anniversary special edition stuff is going to be humbuckers. I'm going to upgrade the pots on my Squires. What do you suggest? CTS or Bournes. Either one. Notice an annoying pop on the notes when I'm playing lead on the Squires that play great. But what is that pop? Is it just the cheapness of the pickup? It could be static. And the way you can test that cheaply is go get a bounce dryer sheet and rub it on your pick guard and see if it goes away. What are your first choice for electric guitar strings? String joys. Bar none, string joys are awesome. Let's see. Dog Boy will buy all 20. It's going to be 20 sets. So they're going to come neck and a bridge in a set, but they're going to be special. And I'm just going to say they're going to be a glimpse into the future. I'm getting a lot of static with some guitars now that the weather is colder and the air is drier. Yeah. Yeah, so rub a dryer sheet on your pick guard. That'll help you with that. I already used the bounce sheets. Yeah, maybe you've got something going on then. Maybe there's a pot giving you trouble or something. Could be. Well, it is 9 o'clock. 116 people here. Only 48 of you have, let's see. I was going to buy pots from StewMac, but your link is not in the description. Wow. Let's fix that junk right now. Shall we? Can't have people. We can't have people missing out on. We can't have people missing out on stuff like that. We're about to get into off-topic hour. So give me just a second to put this link in the description, and then we will get into off-topic hour. Sorry, I've gone a little slower tonight, but it's it's how it is sometimes, especially when I have to do it by myself. This is really weird doing this by myself. As you are aware, I really appreciate Leslie, and she is amazing, and she does such a fantastic job at this stuff. When I have to do these by myself, it is like, oh yeah, the StewMac link isn't in there. Look at that. All right, it is now. Cool. I put the StewMac link in there for you. All right. So here's how this works. Here's how this works. We're going to go off topic. Would your P90, would your 10th anniversary pickups be in a 335 style guitar? Yes. Yep. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going off topic. So how this works, for those of you that are new to the channel, our after hours off topic is no guitars after 9 p.m. We don't talk about guitar stuff anymore. If you want to ask a guitar question, it has to be in a super chat after 9 o'clock. You can ask any question you want that doesn't have to do with guitars, about us. This is what we do to try to kind of get to know you better. Leslie's not here, so you can talk about her all you want or ask questions about it, and I'll try to tell you. I'm just kidding. I'm not feeling awesome either. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So let's see. Knife of the Night, Charles Wallace. It's my Hogue Deca with Ultim scales. Because I flew, so got to put it in my luggage and deal with all that. Let's see. Was the Shelby Museum where you took the car pic on Facebook? Yes. So I toured the Carroll Shelby factory and museum yesterday. It was really cool. And I don't normally pay for the guided tour thing. Usually I just go and look. But I was like, no, I'm not really a Ford guy. I kind of want to learn all I can. So I've watched the movie and I've watched all the documentaries and stuff. But I've never really been a Ford guy, and I'm sort of tossing around buying a Mustang. So I was like, I'm going to take the tour and learn all the things I can learn. And man, was it cool. They take you in the factory and they show you stuff, and I got to meet the CEO of the company, and yeah, it was really cool. It was really, really fun. AR-10, 308, or Lever 357 for your next gun? Neither. Neither. 1911. UFO news. Any of you have been keeping up with the UFO stuff in Congress? We talked about that a couple of times. I don't know if there's anything new, though. Who do you want to win the World Series? Ooh, this is a tough one. Okay, so I definitely wanted Texas to beat the Astros. That's hands down. I definitely wanted Diamondbacks to beat the Phillies. For those of you that don't know, I lived in Arizona for a long time. And so I was a Diamondback fan for quite a long time. But I've always, since I was a kid, I mean, I used to live in New York, but even before that, when I was a kid, I've always been a Yankee fan ever since I was a little kid. And so I've always leaned towards the American League because I just like American League baseball more than National League. So I'm kind of torn because I'm like an American League fan, big time. And Garcia has been hitting home runs like crazy, so he's on fire. That's super fun for the Rangers. So maybe the Rangers. I don't really care, I guess, because I'd like to see the Diamondbacks win. They have not been in it for, 20 years or 12, whatever it is, since 2004 or something, long time ago. But also, the Rangers are kind of an underdog story. Well, both of them. Both those teams kind of sucked it a year ago. So for them to both be in the World Series is really cool. So I'm kind of excited about it. Oh, I'm really excited about it. You should have seen me in the airport the other night. Monday night, the ALCS Game 7 was on Monday night. And here I am. I got my iPad with YouTube TV, like walking through the airport to the baggage claim because I'm like, I don't want to miss the last inning. Like, I bought Wi-Fi on the plane. Like, I was like totally into it, man. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't necessarily have a strong. Probably the Rangers, though. I would say probably the Rangers. What year Mustang? A new one. Yeah, I would get a new one. I kind of have a thing about, I had a hybrid for a year. It wasn't quite a year. I had that Honda Accord hybrid for a year, and it was cool, and it got great gas mileage and stuff, but it was slow. And it was neat, but I'm not ready for batteries yet. And while I can still get fast internal combustion stuff, I'm going to buy fast internal combustion stuff. So that's why I have a fast Audi now. I went back to that. Forced induction, turbochargers, anything with a turbo on it, that's my thing. So the SQ5 thing's cool that we have. But I want a V8. I want a naturally aspirated V8 again. So I really think I want a new Mustang. But I don't know. I don't want to see. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just get another Volkswagen to run around in. Or another Audi or something. Most famous person you ever met? That's tough because I've met a lot of people. I mean, because of what I do. So I don't know. I've met a lot of people. I don't know. It's a lot. We have a Corvette museum in Kentucky. I've been to that. That place is awesome. Big hole in the floor where they fell through and everything. It's pretty cool. Don't mess with Texas. Alan Pettibone. If you get a 1911, don't make the mistake I did when I bought a Kimber out of their custom shop. Huge mistake. How long ago was that? Because I feel like they kind of had a Gibson quality control sort of deal for a few years. Everything I've been seeing has been really nice, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, I haven't decided. I haven't decided if I'm going to get a 2011 or I really think I'm just going to buy a Staccato and just call it good. But we'll see. Best ball player ever. So my favorite ball player of all time, and I know this is really obscure and weird, but my favorite baseball player, I only have one baseball jersey. You'll see me wear it sometimes. Is Mariano Rivera. He was my favorite baseball player because he was so quiet and so chill, and he had an ERA under 1, and he was just a closer, and he was amazing, and he only had one pitch. And he was number 42, which is also very cool because that's Jackie Robinson's number, and he was the last player to ever have number 42, and when Mariano Rivera retired, they retired number 42. And so that's why I bought the special edition hat. I bought a jersey. I bought all the 42 stuff because there's not going to be any more 42 stuff. So being a minority, that's really cool to me. So, but yeah, Mariano Rivera to me is the bomb. He was just so cool. He was my favorite baseball player. My favorite baseball player now, I don't know that I have one because I don't follow it that tightly. I only watch the playoffs. I don't have time. There's way too many games. It's 180 games. And then it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't have that kind of time. I'm like working all the time. So it's, yeah. Oh man, Dog Boy, you were in a rollover car accident with this weekend? That sucks. Um, I'm not a BMW M5, so I've driven them a bunch. I won't buy a new BMW. They are too. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in them. Digital currency. What are your thoughts? Okay. So I'm waiting. I have a bunch of friends that have made a bunch of money in digital currency, and I just don't have the confidence in it. You know, owning a business is. We were just talking about this last night with gambling. Okay, and I'm not saying that investing in digital currency is gambling, but right now it kind of is because there's no predictable way. It's sort of a crapshoot. Um, there's not enough data to have real trends, in my opinion. And the market is so fickle with that stuff that you can't actually trend anything. And I'm so ROI driven because I've run a business since I was 17 years old and I've never taken a loan for anything. I started this business with $100. So, we were in a terrible little apartment, like literally with nothing. When we started this business. So I'm so ROI driven that anything that's can't show me proper trends, I'm sort of kind of out on it until that. Dylan, do you miss dirt bikes? Totally. I miss motorcycles more than anything in the world. I will have another one at some point. Not a dirt bike. But, with age comes a cage. All my friends that were racing back then are all driving desert race cars now. All of us that have broken bones and all that kind of stuff. The Rock Island GI. Yeah, those are cool. Good night, Rick Bonneville. It was about 5 years ago. It was a plating issue. Oh, the Kimber deal. Yeah, so that's I was good. That's why I was going to ask, because they did go through a whole bunch of stuff, and I think what it was is when they started making metal injection molded parts, and they changed their coating, that Kim Pro coating, or whatever they use, and it all went bad for a while. But I think it's okay now, but. Dylan, do you agree with Nuttin' Fancy's first kind of cool and second kind of cool? Yeah, it's funny. I actually didn't know that was a Nuttin' Fancy thing. I got that from Matt at Texas Toast, and I 100% agree. I am genuinely of the, I don't know, like, why are people so concerned with what other people have? That just blows my mind. I don't get it. I'm like, I like a thing, I buy the thing, I enjoy the thing. If you don't like what I like, I see no problem with that. If somebody in the comments yesterday, okay, it comes up because of the firearms thing, because I know not a lot of people, because we have an international audience or whatever, don't have any interest or care about them, right? Which is totally cool. I totally get it. I'm not into making quilts. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, it's fine. Totally fine. What I don't get is why are you talking about this? Because I don't like this. Well, first of all, I didn't know you didn't like it. Second of all, why can't you just scroll past to something that you do like? Come on, man. It's not that hard. You probably do something that I don't like. Maybe you like Beats. I can't stand Beats. But I'm not going to, not talk to you because you like something I don't like. It's dumb. And I hope that we are not all the same. I hope that we are different and can learn from each other. That's the whole thing. We're always learning from each other. Yeah. Digital currency and crypto are not the same things. Yes, I know that. I know, but still, first of all, I don't want an all digital currency because I don't want people to track how much money I have. I mean, I know they know how much money I have. Like, this conversation could get political, and I really like to stay away from that stuff on this channel, but when it comes to a situation where somebody else could control how I spend my money, not into that. And that's all I would say about that. I don't necessarily want to go down that road because that's Will prices on autos ever go back down? No, I don't think so. So the rest of that question is an interesting one. I was in the car business for a long time too. Will they go down to $5,000 under MSRP on autos people want, since interest rates are staying up? Ford has settled strike and GM hopefully soon. I don't think so. And the reason I think that is because I think the way we buy cars now is different. With all of these online places for buying cars and True Car and stuff like that. And I have always felt, why don't you just charge what the car costs? That's not where the dealership makes the money anyway. So if the MSRP on the car is $50,000, and there's probably somebody in the car business that probably knows more than me, but I know quite a bit about this. I've bought like 60 cars and was in the car business for a long time. So if a car costs 50 grand, which no car costs 50 grand, that's a problem. And the invoice on that is probably like not as much as you think anymore either. So like if the car's 50 grand, invoice to the dealer is probably what, 46, 5. It's not that much. There's not that much markup in them anymore. And then they probably get like a 2.5% dealer holdback on that. So, but it depends on how long it's been in stock, and it depends on the dealership model. So like Ford's, they own all their cars. They don't floor them the same way. So like there's all kinds of reasons why don't you just, if it's 50 grand, just pay 50 grand. They're making more money on financing it than anything else, because the banks and all the finance companies are giving them, for lack of a better word, and again, there's probably somebody in the car business that could explain this better than me, but the bottom line is, kickback's probably the wrong word, but they're getting incentives to finance the car. I had a situation where I was trying to buy a car for cash last year, and the dealership wouldn't let me because they wanted to finance it. So I called my buddy, who was a sales manager at another dealership in the same owner deal, and he's like, just tell me, I'll transfer the truck over here and you can pay cash for it. Ended up not doing the deal, but that was a thing. Like, they wouldn't even sell me the truck because I didn't want to finance it. So they're making money all kinds of ways. And I think, why don't we just do it like a MacBook Pro, like MAP pricing, and this is what it costs, and there's no switcheroo crap. There's none of that kind of thing. Just you go in there and you buy the thing. And they make money on all the finance. The finance manager basically makes all the money for the dealership with the warranties and all that crap. So I think it's going to change. Who do you have in the top 3 for the Mexico Grand Prix? Sergio's not going to podium. Sergio's not going to have a job next year. Red Bull's it's gonna be Max. I think it's gonna be Max, Lando, and Lewis, or Max, Lando, and Carlos. That's what I think. But Ferraris don't do very well in the high elevation stuff, so they're probably not going to be fast. But that also messes with downforce too. So I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Beats. See, me and you, Alan, we can't be friends now because you like beets. Actually, I just had a vegan hamburger today. It wasn't a hamburger. They just called it a vegan cheeseburger, but it was made with some grains and beets. And I hate beets. And you cut it in half, and you can see all the red beets in it. It was really good. It's like the first time I'd ever eaten anything with beets in it that I really liked. Probably not the first time ever, but cash is not king anymore. Let's see. Everyone here understands what living life with passion feels like. Some people do. Some people don't. It's funny. A lot of people that follow the channel, they I don't understand why people follow the channel. Like, it's like, if you like stuff, wouldn't you find other people that like stuff too? Like, I follow YouTube channels because I like the same things that those people like. I don't. I never go in the comment section and be like, I'm here to prove you wrong. Like, I don't understand those people. I guess I'm just too happy and content with life to worry about that stuff. I don't know. It's weird. And I think people will get on me sometimes for being like confrontational about it. But I think it's funny. It's genuinely funny. Like, when I post those things, sometimes I'll post them on Facebook and people get mad at me for like calling out somebody. I'm like, first of all, if you make a stupid comment on YouTube, it's not anonymous. It's got your username next to it. So don't make the comment. It's in public. I didn't put that there. You put that there. And if I think it's funny, I mean, I could screenshot it and share it. You could screenshot it and share it. I don't care. Like, we say things on social media sometimes not understanding the full consequences of that. Once it's in the world, it's out in the world. So be careful before you hit the return button or the send button or the arrow button or whatever that makes it go. Be careful what you put, because it's out there now. Like, if you didn't want it to be repeated, don't put it out there. End of story. Where do you get fermented beets? I don't. Ugh. Would you ever buy a Rolex? Actually, so, oh man. Okay, so we are in Vegas. There is a shop. There is a mall underneath Caesar's Palace. Well, it's actually, anyway, it's next to Caesar's Palace, which is right next door to us. And they have everything there. They have everything there, like everything fancy, everything, everything you could ever want. And I went into the Tag Heuer store, this one here, because they have a Red Bull special edition. And I was gonna buy it, and I was like, there's a pistol that I want, and there's another guitar that I want. Like, so I guess I don't really want to watch that bad. Whoops, because I wear my Apple Watch all the time. And the Rolex store was like right down the way, and I was like, I would really like to go in there and kind of just start my journey. I really want a Rolex, but I'm not in a position. Like, a $20,000 watch is just ridiculous, right? For me right now. I'm not saying it will always be, but for me right now, I never say never, and I never say I can't afford or I will never be able to afford. I don't say those things. That's too much negative energy. It holds you back from reaching goals. So I never say that stuff. Someday maybe I will, but today's not that day. So as a method of not being tempted, I did not even go in the Rolex store. What I did go, oh, it's not here right now. I put it up. She knows about this already because I told her. Because I hate keeping secrets. Like, we don't keep secrets. But Leslie, we were in a store. We have the coolest. Okay, we have the coolest store in Augusta, Georgia. It is a jewelry store that is estate used jewelry. So everything in there is used. but it's all like fancy estate stuff. It's really neat. And it's like in collections. It's really cool. And in the back of it is one of the coolest gun stores you've ever been in. So it's a fun place to go. Well, they have a Tiffany case there. And I want to say about 6 months ago, we were in there. So we walked through the jewelry store to get to the gun store. So, and I like to see what Leslie likes because I love buying her stuff. I love buying her stuff. She won't do it for herself. So I just love buying her stuff. And they had the Tiffany toggle necklace, but it was used and somebody had like buffed off or filed off or something the little Tiffany logo and the little stuff on it. Plus, it was too short. 16-inch chain. She didn't like it. She wanted it longer. And it was almost as much as a new one. So today, while she was working, I went to the Tiffany store and I bought her that necklace. I've been kind of saving up for it. And they will lengthen it and send it to our house. So, yeah. I actually went over there for her today, not for me. It was kind of I've been wanting to do that for her for a long time. And so, yeah. I like buying her stuff. She's super fun. I have a really nice Seiko that belonged to my grandfather. The Rolex will hold its value and appreciate much more than the tag, but you probably already know that. Yeah, the other thing is I want an Omega too. I want an Omega Speedmaster. So, is the Apple Watch Ultra worth the extra money? It depends what you use your watch for. I personally think so. I had the Apple Watch 6 before this, and I never wore it. As you know, I'm a watch guy. I have crazy watches. And this is the first smartwatch that made me put my cool watches away and actually wear a smartwatch. Because it doesn't look like a smartwatch. It actually looks cool, and I've put some cool bands on it. And the titanium is worth it, and the crystal is worth it. Like, it looks brand new, even though I bang it around all the time. Feature-wise, I like I like the waterproofness. So I swap the bands out to the waterproof band whenever we go to the beach or whatever. So I like the waterproofness of it because we go to the beach a lot, a few times a year. I like the, and I'll wear it in the shower and wear it in the pool. And like, I never, don't care. So no, I really do like it. I think it's, I don't know, $150 more or something. I've had it about a year now, I think. This is the first one. This isn't the new one that just came out. But I very much do like it. Yeah. I'm a big fan of swatches. I tried to buy the Swatch Omega Moonwatch deal, but I was too late and they'd already gone up way big time in price. You're a good man. Happy wife means happy life. I disagree. I do not, and this is an interesting conversation. It's funny because she's not here, so we'll talk about this. We are not typical when it comes to what's important. So we are very independent. Like, how do I explain it? Without. So you know how people all the time are like, I can't buy a guitar because my wife is mad, will be mad, or blah blah. I have to hide it or whatever. It is really serious as a heart attack. She does not care what I buy, and I don't care what she buys. I don't care. We just don't. We trust each other enough to know that all the bills are paid, all the goals for the month are what they need to be, and we're saving for a house and all those things. And if everything's taken care of and she wants to do a thing, then she can go do it, and I can go do it too. She'll ask me a question every once in a while with the guitar stuff, just to make sure that we're putting it to use, because a lot of it has to do with taxes on the back end. So just being smart. But we're best friends, 100% best friends. And we don't put our halves in. The whole 50-50 thing is stupid. You both have to be 100 all the time. You have to be the best person you can be, and she has to be the best person she can be. It's not contribute half and half. I know that's splitting hairs, but it's true. You have to put your all into it. If you're not putting your all into it, it doesn't work. And you have to be friends. You have to figure out a way, at least for us. Of course, everybody works different. And as a result of that, we are not friends with a lot of people because we do not have friends. Like, if a husband and wife don't get along, we do not hang out with them. We just do not need that negative energy because we are good. We are genuinely good. To the point where people think we're faking it. It's hilarious to me. People think we're faking it because we really are that good. What you see with us, like, even sometimes if we'll like argue about something, or she'll be like, hey, don't do that, I'm doing that. That's as fighty as we get. I've never raised my voice at her in 11 years. She's never raised her voice at me. We have never actually gotten into an argument in 11 years. Never. Because we just talk about stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. And I know that's a little personal, but just sharing. Can you write off your guitars on your taxes? Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that we do with that. Taxes, guitars, knives, guns, a lot of the stuff. So that's one of the reasons why we run another blog and a whole other YouTube channel that's kind of off topic, to find a place for that stuff and to be able to review those products and stuff, so that we can do that properly. And I think a lot of times people don't realize that I don't buy all these guitars because I'm rich. Like, they're tools for me. And I think that's might be one of the reasons why people get annoyed with me sometimes, because I don't get attached to stuff. Like, I'm not, so passionate about this thing because blah, blah, blah. I'm not. In 2019, we sold everything we owned and we moved into a motorhome. And if I had to do it again, I'd do it again tomorrow. If you came to me and said, look, I need you to sell everything and live in your car, and it was a legit reason, I would do it. I didn't care. I'm totally not, we are not connected. We are not like attached to anything. I don't even care. Do I like cool stuff? Yes, absolutely. You obviously can tell that, but I'm not attached to that stuff. And we will definitely sacrifice a thing to do or go to a place, like to travel. So that's one of the reasons why we're being real careful about buying a house, because we want to continue to be able to travel and stuff. and not buying a big house, not buying it. And we're not ever going to do like the whole YouTuber gold plated Lamborghini, none of that kind of stuff. I don't make that kind of money on YouTube anyway. This is like, I'm not not that. We are not no Mr. Beast YouTuber people around here. My YouTube check pays a couple of bills. Like it doesn't. We're not getting rich. But even if we did, we still wouldn't. I would just, keep it pretty simple, which I really like. Do you do your taxes yourself? Yeah, we do. Well, sometimes. It depends. Some of it we do, some of it we don't. Marriage is two bacteria in a test tube that grow into a singular bacteria that is its own unique specimen and can't be compared to any other. Yeah, that's probably a good analogy, dude. Does a pedal question count? Yeah, it does. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, taxes get more and more complicated every year. I don't want to get into next year, but we have a bunch of big plans for next year that are going to make things more complicated, growing the business and stuff. So we're at the point now with Dylan Talks Tone where I want to take it to the next level. Like, we've been doing it for 10 years. I'm really grateful that we're making a living with it, but I have ideas, and pickups are. Is that a Halloween costume? No, it's not actually. So Formula One is in Las Vegas in like 3 weeks, and so they have a bunch of Formula One merch here right now, and I bought a bunch of it because I've been meaning to buy this jacket actually. Yeah. Cigars, yay or nay? I have never smoked anything. No, smoking doesn't. I love the smell of them, but I've never smoked anything. Not a cigarette, nothing. Are you still getting shit for that Epiphone versus Gibson video? Yeah, probably. I don't care. I feel like we're all stalling until Leslie shows up. I don't know that she's going to at this point because it's let me see. Let's see if we can see what's going on. Let me see where she is. She's still working. Yep, she's still working. Well, then maybe we will call it an early night because, well, it's not really an early night. We've been going since 5 o'clock. Baja 1000 is coming up too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're in off-topic time right now. Yeah, and my voice is starting to give up, and I'm actually kind of hungry. So I'm gonna text her and tell her that I'm hungry. You guys, it's been fun. Sorry I had to do it by myself. Sorry that Leslie wasn't here. I will let her know that she was missed. Because I know that she was, because I missed her, because this was really hard to do without her. And because we have about half as many people that watch this thing. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for hanging out, everybody. And we will see you on Monday. And then we have a Monday hangout for Patreon Monday night too. So keep that in mind as well. We'll see y'all.